Okay, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. Today we have a new session in our program. As you know, it is broadcast as a new digital generation platform, which is broadcast to many countries, places, globally, at the same time, simultaneously. We have now from Komodo platform, Komodo CTO Kadan Stadelmann. Please welcome. Good evening. How are you?
Good evening, Professor Settinger. Thank you. Thank you. I'm very fine. Thanks for having me. How are you?
Thank you very much. So we have 2 hours difference. You are connecting from Europe. Now we are in Istanbul. It is 8 in the evening here. Today we will be talking about Komodo platform, Komodo's vision, and the theme is Komodo is for vision. So we will talk about why Komodo is for future, sorry, not vision, but of course vision. We will talk about vision as well. So Komodo for future. Please, when you are following, you can just also look at the Twitter, and you can try to make it a trend topic tonight. So many people, many communities will be aware of Komodo's very powerful technologies, and we will talk about why we have chosen it with Komodo CTO. Yes, let us actually start with one thing. I have today, so nowadays, Elon Musk is very busy with the cryptocurrencies. He is promoting like Dogecoin, Bitcoin nowadays. Today we talk when we were talking about with France. I saw a message on Twitter from Elon again. It was saying one coin to rule them all, rule them for all. One coin to rule them for all. Actually, I had some objection to that, and I also talked about Komodo as a reply to him. Because one coin to rule them for all is not a good idea. I don't know, I am sure Kadan is, perhaps agreeing with me. What do you think of this one? One coin to rule them for all, or making communities free, independent with their platforms? What do you think?
So I think, just like to touch base on the one coin to rule them all, I believe in coexistence. So I personally believe that there will be like many coins. There won't be like one absolute ruler, and in general, like the world ruler. You know what I mean? Our vision, our ideology, and everything is quite like or far away like from the ruler in that sense. Like as you said, yes, we really believe like in an independent, free, and basically permissionless, borderless, digital world. This does include, of course, the blockchain sphere with the entire financial applications on top of it. And this basically also brings me to the next question. Sure, I absolutely appreciate that you referred like Komodo as that coin to rule them all, right? But I think Komodo could basically be the coin to fuel them all and to power them all. You know what I mean? Like, because at the end of the day, what's like Komodo? Komodo is probably the vision. Komodo itself is the idea, our belief in this free world. But on the other side, then we have like the Komodo platform, right? The technological layer of Komodo, of the vision, something that represents and reflects what we believe in and what we wish to achieve, or what we are achieving right now. And this is this independent, distributed, composable, and Turing complete smart chain platform, right? This is, I'd say, like the core, one of the core technology layers we're providing. This is what actually my credit loop is utilizing for your product and for your independent financial network. So that's a great showcase, actually, and an example of to what is possible with Komodo, right? You can create your own chain, right? I'll try to explain it like in layman's terms, like super simple. So anyone can create a chain which becomes obviously an independent chain. What does independent mean in this regard, right? Because we know independent does not always mean independent. It's a word which like marketing and PR firms often abuse. But in Komodo's example, independence means you will not rely on us. You will not rely on Komodo. You will not have any binding, any dependency with the Komodo platform, with the Komodo blockchain. So this means your chain becomes a truly independent chain, a standalone blockchain. It's like MCL. Now let's imagine Komodo wouldn't be here anymore tomorrow. You know what I mean? This would mean that MCL, that the Marmara credit loop would still be around, your users would not be affected, and you would still be operatable as if we were still here, right? So this is like this, I think, this big pillar of independence. Then we said it is composable, it is Turing complete. Well, what does this mean? So as you know, over the last 2-3 years, there's been like this topic, this industry field called smart contracts. Something that was built like on top of like the blockchain. I mean, there have been like smart contracts around actually before the blockchain era started, but we refer to this distributed, decentralized, trustless, and basically cryptographically validatable contracts. This is something that wasn't, let's say, not trivial to implement on top of a Bitcoin-based blockchain, a so-called UTXO blockchain. But with the Komodo technology, we've basically implemented a smart contracting layer, if you want to put it like that, which enables every independent smart chain. So every project that builds a chain on Komodo, or every user that builds a chain on Komodo, could then implement the most complex, business logics and project them over to the blockchain and make them independent, decentralized, trustless, and give it all these positive aspects and aspects of our technology. You know what I mean? So I'd say this is pretty much like the core, the heart, the vision of Komodo, like of our, of course, also like referring to JL777, James Lee, the founder and father of the Komodo platform and Supernet, who's released his basically manifest of like independence, like this, basically trying to provide ultimate liberty. This is not just like financial liberty we're talking about. This really extends and propagates over to the entire world, not just like from a market perspective, but even from a socio-economic perspective. We believe in this like deep and fundamental freedom, liberty. Like let anyone do what he desires to do, as long as it's in alignment with the ethical compass. You know what I mean? This is what I'd say, and specifically from my point of view, boils down to the vision, to the word of Komodo platform.
Very good. Let me just when you mentioned actually the manifest by the founder JL777, let me tell about the history of our MCL, Marmara Credit Loops. Actually, this project, in our mind, started with a brain teaser belonging to a town story. There's a town where all people are in debt to each other, and there is no money, so they cannot have economical activities. There is one hotel in that town, and one person, a tourist, comes to the hotel and says, okay, I will just, stay, but if I like, otherwise I will get my money back. So she just presents 100 USD to hotel owner, and the hotel owner is just in debt to butcher. He just rushes to butcher to pay for 100, and then butcher goes to farmer, farmer goes to another one. So that money, the same money, 100 USD, visits 5 people, so creates a 500 USD economy. Finally, it comes back to hotel, and in the meantime, a tourist comes down and says that she doesn't like the hotel, so she gets the money, 100 USD back. This was actually his story. When of course, in academy, we don't use post-dated checks and other promissory notes. When I talk about on television program about this story, some businessman just came close to me, said that because in academy you are not paid with post-dated checks, you don't know, but nearly half of economy turns with that. So I asked her how, and then he just told me about post-dated checks and what are the problems, especially non-redemption. So that story actually started in 2013, and we decided to go into blockchain to solve non-redemption problem in those, because it is peer-to-peer credit creation on papers, postage checks and promissory notes. But the biggest problem is non-redemption. So then we had several, workshops in the university, and we had people from Ethereum community, from other, Neo and other communities within our community. So we were seeking actually the technology. And then I said, no, they are, as we said, we started, they are one coin to rule them all. I didn't like the idea. In that time, I saw JL777's manifest on Bitcoin Talk. I immediately said, oh, I found the answer. This is the vision we should follow, because why we don't want to be garbage on another chain, as Komodo, addresses with the right vision. You said even Komodo, we believe, of course, Komodo will be there all the time with the coin, Komodo coin, but you said even Komodo blockchain is not there, as independent chains, others can survive. So this is really very good vision. And then we have started in 2018 with that. So this is really, I think we need to say here, stress that instead of one coin to rule them for all, we can say Komodo platform is an open source community, can we say Linux of blockchain systems, which brings people together from different countries. Yeah. Actually, it is a platform, open source, collaborated platform to empower all communities around the world. Can we say that? Instead of that vision, absolutely. I think this is fitting much better.
To connect them all, them all and to empower them all.
This is very important. Now, once we can come back to now the second question. I talked about a big, long story. Sorry about that. Suppose we are a new small community, like for example Marmara chain. We had in the beginning, with the support of Komodo, of course, community in ecosystem from like Verus, Pirate, and others. We are really very thankful to all communities as Marmara chain. The greatest problem is because you are a small community, in this business, in blockchain, you are weak. You cannot do much about 51% attacks. Do you want to talk about, how, for example, you are helping, how Komodo platform is helping small communities to be secure in their small, it might be a very good idea, but small smart chains, like depot technology or some other things. What do you say? Or interconnection of their blockchain in atomic text. We will come back to that, I think, later.
Sure, absolutely, yeah. So depot, as you mentioned, is basically the delayed proof of work technology and algorithm. In very simple words, it is basically a technology which takes the information of one specific blockchain and stores this information into the Bitcoin blockchain. Afterwards, the blockchain that was basically taken and then used to store the information of in Bitcoin will be validated against the Bitcoin blockchain. So this means that point where such a so-called notarization takes place, this is like a notarization process. And for us, the depot network is basically the notary, right? Because it takes the blockchain information, stores it into Bitcoin blockchain, and then makes sure that no one can reorganize like your blockchain and cannot roll the chain back beyond that point. This is important because there is a so-called 51% attack, and I'm sure like you've seen probably a lot in the last 1-2 years, even in 3-4 years ago, this was a quite common attack, where an attacker will basically mine an own longest chain with the majority of the hash rate in the network, but keep that kind of offline from the main chain, right, and from the main network. And then you can use this chain reorganization attack to execute a double spend. That's when let's say I send you coins and I send these coins like on the other longest chain, I send the coins to another receiver. And afterwards, once I execute this attack, your coins will basically be gone. This transaction will just vanish from your DB because the chain has been reorged. And this is like really bad, right? And we said, okay, we need to do something, that prevents this kind of attacks. And this is specifically targeting, blockchains that are not powerful, that don't have many miners on it or not sufficient miners. Because nowadays it is really easy to rent or buy hash rate on external marketplaces from botnet providers, in the dark net, in the hacker spaces. There are a lot of like bad guys around, and they can easily buy or rent computational power, and they will not use it to do something good with it. They will use it to attack blockchains in order to steal money, right? And DPoL ultimately prevents these sort of attacks. And it's not something that only protects Komodo, or like you said, Komodo smart chains. In fact, we also are offering this technology. It's open source, right? We're offering it to all kind of third-party blockchains, right? We have a lot of like external blockchains that use this technology that are not a smart chain, right? I mean, we had like the game token, do this Einsteinium is still utilizing DPoL in order to get like a full 51% protection. And it's something that is open to any kind of blockchain and proof of work blockchain that has a risk of being attacked and undergoing a 51% attack can actually utilize the DPoL technology to receive this 51% attack protection.
Very good. Actually, we had, when we started Marmara chain, many people asked us, okay, we are a small community now. We are, doing like staking. 70% is 75% is staking with credit loops, especially, and activating coins. So we are not very powerful. I told them, don't worry. In the meantime, also we had some hard forking. We also learned within this in life, in lifestyle, how it looks like. It is very really difficult, but we had a lot of help from Komodo community, thanks to them again. And actually we learned also about notarization processing there. Let me just briefly explain what I understand, so you can correct me if there's something to be corrected. We are one of the notaries. 32 notaries are the best ones with the performances, as far as I know. The 32 are actually voted by the community members. Their wallets are actually, given sent some vote coins, and then based on that, they become notaries. So there is a chance for anyone to become a notary. So we are, as Marmara chain, one of the notaries. This is a wonderful, experience for us. Thanks to Komodo community, we have also that. So notarization, actually, we can say that, even if you are a small community, Komodo actually makes recycling of Bitcoin, huge hash power, because it is the, the richest hash power in the world. Of course, many people complain about like electricity consumption or something, but there is justification by Komodo platform. I think we can say that easily, because all blockchains, small blockchain communities and blockchains are actually stored. Their backups are, recorded on the Bitcoin network and also Komodo network, I think. So, including their, network, there will be 3 platforms, or 3 blockchains to be attacked. One of them, of course, the biggest one, Bitcoin. So this is very nice. After that, I think we can go into now the second thing, third thing, sorry. So we have independently, smart contracts, smart chains, very nice with a parametric design, like it might be like a proof of work or proof of, staking, or combination of them in a hybrid manner. Okay, we established it. Secondly, we have now We are good against attacks. Komodo notarization system with depot is protecting us. The third thing, I think, the very important thing, to interoperability, I think, to connect all the blockchain communities together. So once they have, for example, their blockchains, of course, most probably they will have their coins or tokens, most probably coins, because it is giving you that chance. In my opinion, most platforms should be using that coins, not tokens, not be tokenized. That is why JL777 has written a very nice article. Tokenomics are not about coins, it is about tokens. Komodo is not tokenizing you. It is giving an opportunity to create a coin for you. Or you can create your token, it's freely. The third thing, how do we now instantly make it available for other blockchain communities? Because you need to exchange your cryptocurrency with the others. So we come to now central exchanges as one of the options for many, and it is problematic. We won't go into perhaps details, or if you want, you can go. But now let us go into atomic DEX. I know for atomic DEX, this is one of the also good things about Komodo. It is what attracted Marmara community towards Komodo. It is atomic swaps. Komodo platform is actually, is the pioneer in this atomic swap business. And we had competitions in the university during barter DEX times. If you remember, Komodo community, Komodo team also helped us when we had a problem in barter DEX. Also we used later HyperDEX. And then we now came to a new era, I can say, atomic DEX. We like it very much, and it has atomic. So please, now I leave the stage to you. What do you say about those third, need for the communities?
I'd say atomic DEX, this tech layer, is really our flagship technology. It is the holy grail of blockchain technologies, and specifically of the Komodo platform technologies. This is, like you said, this is like a third generation software. We've been working on this for over half a decade, literally since 2013, 2014. This is how the history dates back in this technology stack. And what it does, or what it gives to the end user and to the developers, is basically a distributed, decentralized, and trustless exchange technology. So this means that you really are able to exchange and literally connect different blockchains through a standalone peer-to-peer network. There is no central authority, there is no regulator, there is nothing in between such a trade, right? This is a trade between one end user and the other end user. And this is, for me, the most fascinating thing about this technology is, of course, the security aspect. And we don't like trust, right? I mean, a smart guy said once, in traditional banking, in traditional finance, the entire mathematics is based on trust. But in atomic DEX and in the DEX technology stack itself, you know that the trust is actually based on mathematics. So you can validate and recalculate everything. You don't have to trust anyone. You have the ultimate control over your funds. You own the private keys and no one else. No one can steal coins from you. No one could just interfere in such a swap or take your coins away. And this is pretty much the opposite from a centralized exchange. In a centralized exchange, we need to be clear and we need to be aware that we do not own our coins because the exchange has the private keys and the exchange controls the coins. And this is, I think, the most significant difference between centralized exchange and decentralized exchange. And with Komodo's atomic DEX technology, it really evolved and matured into its current phase, this current status, which is it's pretty much a production-ready technology, right? We're very close to being industry-grade ready. So we've already been writing a beta program for over a year, right? On the mobile side, we've been doing this almost 2 years now in total. And we're now about to release the stable 0.4 beta release. This is happening next week, if I'm not mistaken. And this tech really is compatible with around 99% of all coins listed on the coin market cap. This does include all Komodo smart chains, all Bitcoin protocol based blockchains, but then also, third-party generation blockchains, third generation and second generation blockchains, such as Ethereum, the ERC20 standard, most of, if not all, of the ERC20 standards that using the default interface. Then also we have the QRC20 standard from the Qtum project supported, right? So as you know, this is really very similar to the Komodo Smart Chain platform. It is a modular technology. We're polishing, we're enhancing user experience on this technology, and we have many more protocols lined up for integration, such as Cosmos, Tezos. We're even looking into a straight Uniswap integration. We're figuring additional enhancements, for example, a zero confirmation swap, you know what I mean, where we could actually exchange with each other without relying on these long blockchain confirmation rates. This is something that could be done with a collateral, for example, a collateralized swap, or a trust API, where I can basically configure your public key when I know who I'm trading with, and it would enable me instant trades, very similar experience than with a centralized exchange, And these are the things that we are building for Atomic DEX right now, the things they are working on. Basically, the post-stable iteration will be just about enhancing, improving, making it better, making it faster. It's already very, very secure. The protocol has been independently verified by third parties as well as security experts. And we're very, very confident that this is really the holy grail in this tech. And like you said, this provides this core interoperability. Atomic DEX is like a bridge that you can build from any blockchain to any other blockchain, right? It's like the Babel fish of blockchains. The Babel fish, it speaks all the different languages, the different protocol languages. And this is what this technology is about. And I really highly recommend anyone to put hands on it and to check it, and to really everyone have a look on this. It's the technology we've been putting a lot of energy and efforts into for a very long time.
Yes, actually, when we talk about decentralized exchanges, this is wonderful. I think this is the most attracting thing, especially in Komodo world. There is no third party for the trustless version. As you said, so there's no other coin, for example, to be used in escrow. But at the same time, when I go to, especially, some platforms, when I find time, like in Komodo's, for example, Telegram group, or, Komodo's Discord group. By the way, my daughter's story, she was saying last week, she had a problem, of course, because she did not understand something, I think, with the wallet use or something. She went to Discord group, and then when she had written, her question, she told me, within 1 minute or something, there was one answer. She said, "Wow, this is very, strong community." When I tell people, actually, if you want to make any investment for the long term, because technical analysis, I tell people, technical analysis do not work for the projects. You cannot understand the projects with the technical analysis. Of course, it is for perhaps short-term profits. But for the long term, you should know the team, the community, and this is wonderful. So in the community, there was one discussion. I think we need to also discuss it here. They were saying that for some countries, there is a KYC, for example, requirement, asking that, okay, otherwise you cannot use that. But I tell them, they talk about here, there's no issue, by the way, in Marmara community in Turkey here. Why? Because, as you know, post-data checks work with the trust structure when there is zero collateralization. You know, you cannot solve it with a trustless system when it comes to credits with zero collateralization. This is wonderful, as you said, you know, a few minutes ago. This is very flexible atomic DEX. So we have, for example, we are very happy, we are honored to keep actually on GitHub non-KYC version of atomic DEX. And by the way, we thank again the Komodo team here, you know, with our team, Marmara team. Our team learned a lot about many things when they were actually involved in that, you know, setting up the things on Marmara. I believe, you know, now there's a rumor also, I will ask you about that. You know, atomic DEX actually is versatile, open source, flexible structure. Even you can name it with a different name, and then you can create another decentralized exchange. As you said, with APIs, you can even have trust-based systems, you know, to be integrated. I will come to question immediately. What about Dodge DEX or something? There is something, the rumor about that. Shall we ask that? Dodge is very, you know, famous nowadays, Dogecoin or something. There is even a problem with the network, I think. There were some people who could not connect, synchronize with the Dogecoin. There were some suggesting to use Komodo. They can shift their blockchain to Komodo. Also, they were suggesting something else, but this is new. Could you give something, or I don't know,
Well,
Dodge DEX or including
have
other topics?
Sure, no, absolutely. So we have a few community members and also like one of our business devs, and actually our business and some from the market team. They've been like working, as you said, like Atomic DEX is not just like a tech and our flagship end user product and technology. It's also a white label product, means anyone can take it, change, you know, rebrand it, change colors, icons, names, logos, and you'll have your own multi-coin wallet with DEX inside, right? This is like, I think like one of the big benefits here, that every blockchain out there can actually go ahead and use this as their own standalone wallet and DEX GUI. And this is what's happening now with Dodge DEX, right? So people are right now building, or we are building and working on a DEX for the Dodge community, a standalone wallet, full support for the Dodge tokens, for all the other coins that are already listed and supported by Atomic DEX will of course be listed too. And this is going, if I'm not mistaken, the website is under dodgedex.xyz. That's like the website this project is being built on. And it's a great example and showcase of this white label technologies that anyone can reuse for their own products, right? And just to touch base on, because you mentioned this KYC thing and the geo blocks, etc. Yes, we're very grateful for Marmara hosting these non-geo blocked versions. The reason behind this geo block is that there've been like some AML updates, you know, international AML regulatories updated. This was something concerning the US, Europe, and we didn't want to put any of our developers into any danger or risk. And after legal counsel and advice, we've decided to, for the interim, to temporarily basically limit the accessibility from certain countries where the situation was not 100% clear. As of today, I can already tell you that the Atomic DEX core technology and the DEX protocol, the Atomic Swap protocol, will not have a KYC integrated until this becomes a regulatory requirement. But as of today, whenever a trade or a swap takes place between two parties, you know, 100% decentralized, peer-to-peer, and us, basically Komodo, or Marmara does not have to do anything with the swap. You're not connecting the users. You're not advertising their trades. You're not regulating their trades. So we have nothing to do with the trades, and that's the legal. This is the legal framework that we can now operate with to basically not have to implement any KYC on the protocol level. This is something that's coming in the near future. So it will also mean that the geo limitations will be removed like sooner than later.
Yeah, very good. Now, I want to, it came to my mind actually when we were talking about, post data checks, it was a question for us because billions of checks actually every year occurs. And I was talking to JL777 about this. I said, I asked about scalability. Many platforms nowadays talk about the scalability, because when it comes to mass adoption, this is very important in case of mass adoption because many people will be using. The capacity is important. With the credit cards case, I think it is around 30,000 or something, or 50,000, I don't know, TPX per second, I think. So can you talk about the scalability? I know about parallel chains and clustering. We talk about those with James, but I want to also, make a confirmation here from you, because you know very well about scalability tests. There was scalability tests. When was it? I think 2 years ago or something like that. Many platforms, by just come into existence nowadays, they are saying that, okay, they have decentralized something, or they will establish decentralized things, or they are more scalable. I think Komodo deserves something here also because it already solved this problem, I think. Is it?
Absolutely, absolutely, yes. So first of all, with the scalability topic and the scalability problem, I mean, it's not a problem for Komodo anymore, but it is a problem on many other blockchains. And like you basically mentioned it in the very beginning, where you said, I don't become garbage on yet another platform. And this is what it's all about, right? Because you can take one blockchain, which has like the limitations, it has natural limitations, and then you can park everything on top of this and try to push more through, but it will not work. It will clog your chains, fees will go crazy, etc. With Komodo, it's basically that every new chain that joins the network will extend and scale the network up. There will be more network channels, more peer-to-peer networks, more infrastructure available with every chain that gets created. So it's the exact opposite like other platforms, like other smart contract platforms, like we know, right? The biggest benefit here is that with Komodo, we implemented something, like the sync burn protocol, which like basically enables you to create a smart chain cluster. Now, let's say you have like one blockchain, right? And it has limitations, right? We have like, I don't know, like 2 megabytes of like a block size. You can maybe scale it up to 4 megabytes, 8 megabytes if you want it. That would work with nowadays internet connections, but it would still be limited. So the solution was to, whenever the bandwidth of your blockchain is used to a big degree, you just spin up a new chain, a new blockchain, which will be in sync with the main chain. And this side chain can also be used for transactions. And we keep a balance between these two chains. So whenever you send coins from one chain to the other channel, right? Or let's say I send you coins, right? These coins will be transferred from one chain to the other chain to get the transaction through, because chain number one was already completely overloaded. Now it will kind of lock them or burn them on our side and reissue and free them on your side, right? And this way you keep a clean balance, right? So it's not possible to create coins out of thin air, or to forge basically coins and to fake coins, right? And this is something that is scalable like to an infinite level, right? This, I mean, it's finite by the physical resources available on this planet. But other than that, it's infinitely scalable. So you can replicate this process 100, 1,000, maybe even 100,000 times. If you really need millions of transactions per second, you can just create a cluster of many sidechains that will basically split the load amongst them without overloading one small blockchain. And this technology is not just like something that Komodo is using. This technology is something that all smart chains that are building, with Komodo can utilize this technology and enjoy this infinite scalability.
Yeah, this is very also, I want to add something about scalability. I don't know if it is, if we can give a name here, But my friend told me about Solana, a new project. He said, you look, it is very fast and scalable or something. When I looked at the website, I saw it's in milliseconds. I think this is my. I didn't make quite a good research for that. But as far as I see, when a blockchain actually have a scalability problem to be solved, there is one in the other hand. I think taking from the hands of people, creation of a currency, this is because why do we have cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin, which is the first starting this business, mining or staking. If, for example, we have a blockchain with terabytes, for example, it will not be fitting for all because they cannot be producing now anymore the coins. But I think with scalability option or scalability solution in Komodo platform, they can still make mining and staking, I think, is it? Can we confirm that from the parallel chains, for example? Because they don't need to be having all chains, is it?
Yes, correct. You can utilize a proof of stake or a proof of work or a hybrid algorithm scheme. This is something that's like totally up to you and to the smart chain creator. This is something you can configure. With Marmara, I think it's like a 70 to 30% or something like that, right? And
25% is proof of work, 75% staking with credit loops, and with activated coins, 1x. With credit loops, 3x staking.
Nice. Yeah, and this is something that is really freely configurable. You know what I mean? And you just said, when a blockchain has like many terabytes, of data. That's a good point, because I believe that we are all in most or the entire blockchain industry layer. We are using legacy technologies, legacy IT technologies for this very new blockchain technologies, right? We're using, ordinary like integers and, character arrays and, the structs and the data types that were made just for the general IT world. We haven't reached the era where there are, dedicated blockchain data types, newly invented data types for blockchain, newly invented compression algorithms for blockchain data and these kind of things. But this is coming. I'm super confident. I'm dead certain this is stuff that's coming, that's already being worked on actively by probably more than just like one party. Because that will boost the adoption of this technology. We need to reach a stage where you can run a blockchain, daemon independently, standalone on a mobile device, on a smartphone, on a tablet, on a hybrid device. It doesn't has to require servers, big computers, big computational power. And this is gonna be probably the next step, the next big evolution step is basically this shift, the evolution of the blockchain technology to a more dedicated technology level, to a more dedicated and basically custom, blockchain technology stack. And that's coming. That's stuff that's 100% coming. And that will kind of remove a lot of these scalability issues, a lot.
That's a good point. That's a good point. Yeah, really, we need to have revolutionary ideas, new innovations, to have actually, as you said, we are actually relying on legacy systems. We still have things from like central database systems, database management systems, but it is, as you said, requiring a new paradigm. I guess according to new paradigm, many issues will be solved. And the good thing about this, because why you need to know about the teams and their, trustfulness. I think this is very important. That is what I like about Komodo platform. As we said, it is Linux of, blockchain system. And as we know, the most preferable system, open source Linux system for web sites, for example. It is not closed Windows, vulnerable to attacks, security attacks and viruses or something. But here we have a huge world, and actually also we are lucky that, I really admire, James Lee, JL777. once we have a good idea, innovative idea, he's very quick on solving. I remember from the POC days for Marmara Credit Loops. It was 2 years ago. We made the tests with more than 100 engineering students in our Marmara University. He said, okay, we had the idea. He said, okay, I will just make the POC. He just disappeared for 2 days, and then after 2 days he came back. Okay, I have the code. So to understand how we will conduct the tests and we will make the tests, it took several weeks to understand really. To have such person also is very nice. Also, other in the Komodo team, it's really very good. With our experience, with the. We solved, because we have a small community here of developers, especially Marmara chain, but we really learned a lot, in the open source world of Komodo. This is wonderful thing. I really thank. So we have actually almost finished time. I think I don't know if we missed any point for making. Communities free, independent. We have all the tools available, starting from first. I think they can start immediately. Actually, if they don't want to make any change to structure, for example, of Komodo, they can just fork, and they can simply change the parameters. It is actually parametric design. I tell my engineering students, there are CAD systems, as you know. Parametric design is very famous. Komodo is actually having a solution for all communities, a parametric design solution. But I want to come to last point now. We need to talk about that. I think Komodo has a basic parametric design, availability, so communities can immediately start. But for projects like Marmara Credit Loops, or for many problems to be solved, this is also very nice with Komodo. We can have crypto conditions. I think this is we should talk about this. I believe in the future. I agree with James. He was telling in one article, thousands of communities will just actually come to Komodo finally here. I believe why? Because I am one of the comers in 2017 to blockchain. At that time, before discovering actually Komodo platform, I also, for the sake of making investment in decentralization, I made a lot of investment in Ethereum tokens, and my actually ledger is full of garbage now, because I just left there. I did not check them, and I checked the list, several days ago. Some of them removed from the Ethereum smart chain to their own chain, like for example, VeChain. They just left their things in there because I did not swap in time. I don't know if I can get back. So this is a wonderful thing. They can make independent free chains. With the security, they will not have a problem with the depot or notarization system. Atomic DEX is available with a full, functionality, supporting many communities, and we have other scalable issues. We have talked about many things now. Smart contracts, or the essence of technology of Komodo platform. Can we talk about crypto conditions, or what do we call them? Custom consensus. How people, communities will come and create their own smart chains with these technologies. Perhaps we can have some technical, to be understandable, of course, by masses.
Sure. So as of now, we basically have a wide variety of different custom consensus modules. We call it CC, right? The CC library, it's basically the crypto conditions library, and it already lays in the name. With this crypto conditions library, you can basically implement, this conditional, like kind of smart contracts. It's basically Komodo's or the UTXO protocols smart contract capability, right? This is like how we implemented the functionality. However, in the legacy design, right, it was more like the first generation smart contract technology for Komodo, right? And this is evolving right now. So the plan right now is to implement, some sort of low-level opcodes, which will then basically enable developers to implement really complex CCs with a combination of these low-level opcodes, right? This would turn it a really nice, like low-level interface, which end developers, I call them end developers, which basically third parties or developers or smart chain operators could then go ahead and really build nice high-level smart contracts with this technology. And I think the very big benefit here is, as we speak, one of our core team members and basically core engineer, we call him All Right. He's known as All Right in the community. He's working on this low-level opcodes implementation together with Dinksy and others from the team. JL777 his influence, advisory, etc. He's basically the spaceship engineer here, right? Just waiting for us to figure these kind of evolution possibilities. It's like the atomic DEX. He literally invented the automated cross-chain atomic swaps, like stated in the Binance Academy. If you check that, it will state JL777 on the NXT forum has done the first automated cross-chain atomic swap back in 2013 or 2012, even, if I remember correctly. And it's a very similar thing with the CC technology. This is now evolving to the next level. This is being ported to a Rust-based code base. It's really becoming its own library. So we'll have third-party developers being able to implement CCs with Rust, but also with Python, or at some point in the future, even with JavaScript, right? We will open this technology. We will make it truly agnostic and extremely flexible. You will be able to implement any kind of use case with the CC technology. And I think the biggest benefit here is, if we compare it, to Ethereum or other smart contract platforms, is this independent layer, right? You don't need Komodo to run these smart contracts. You can do this on your own. You don't have to pay for it. It's a truly free, and permissionless technology stack.
Very good. This is great. To make just sure for the audience, in CCs, crypto conditions, as far as I know, we use C++ now. But you mean here that language agnostic means we can use other platforms, maybe specific, with specific structures like Solidity. I don't know if I give that as an example. So any language can be used to add easily those CCs or develop maybe CCs in their languages, different languages. Did I understand this one correctly, or?
Absolutely. It means you can use any language, but you can also use any platform. This is technology that you can even use within the web browser at some point. Right now we're making, Komodo, the CC technology, NSPV, and all our blockchain tools 100% compatible with the web stack. And this also extends to atomic DEX. We want to have a WebAssembly version, or not we have it actually. There are a few tweaks outstanding, but in a very, very near future, we will have all this technology, not only language agnostic, but really platform agnostic, all kind of operating systems. It could be, again, it could be even the web browser. It could be running standalone in the web browser. And this is what it's all about. Yeah, this is the evolution of this technology.
Very good. I think we have finished now time. Now it is the last but not least. I will just give a big thank to JL777, James Lee, for making Marmara credit loops. It was a dream for us initially. We made it a reality because of JL777's vision. Understanding and also Dimitri, with his, very good, engineering, how do you call it, very nice, especially when you talk about the, other language agnostic things. We asked Dimixi, for example, about how we write, like how we interact from a web or mobile application with the credit loops. He just prepared by using HTML, CSS, and JavaScripts with NSPVs, just to make in one page with several, endorsers, one issuer, and one, of course, many bearers, a credit loop. It was fantastic, We used actually web application, and he put on the GitHub side. This is very nice, really. It was very wonderful, great opportunity for us. Thanks for joining us, dear Kadan.
Thank you so much.
We will have. We are watching for the news for many stuff, like Soldier Boy, Wall Street Bet, and other things. I think this was very nice idea also. Satinder and all other people, CP and others. There are many, maybe I don't remember their names immediately now. Tony, Chris, for example. Everyone in our community, many. PBCA, yes. For example, with the cause, you like. By the way, I want to ask CA333. I should ask at the beginning. What does it mean actually? CA333. JL777 are coming from maybe Linux, or I don't know, or this is similarly. You have CA333. Can you answer for that?
It's both good numbers, right? You have like 7. You also have it
yes.
Prime number. I think James did it out of like probably similar reasons. It's also considered a number of luck, a very positive number, like the 3. Same also applies to the 7. The 7, of course, on Linux, it's basically the SYN permission that you would give a file, right? You'd never like F777, right? But we always have this joke, that Satan's, yes. Snake would tell you run all your processes as root and give all your files 777 permission. You know what I mean? But in my case, the C and A really stands like, the C stands for crypto, because I always thought, cryptography is a really old, a very, very, very old methodology, right? It's something that goes back to ancient times. There are books of Babylonian time, really dates back. And the A stands for, kind of my political belief, right? It goes towards the anarchy, right? And so the CNA actually stands for crypto anarchist, right? Anarchist, in a specific sense, right? Anarchy for me, it's not like chaos. It's not like living without rules, without moral, without ethics. It's really the opposite of this. For me, anarchism is like Immanuel Kant, a very famous philosopher said, you would want to live your life and you would want to behave in a way, in a fashion that makes it, ethical and morally acceptable in everyone's eyes. And that would also be a legislation that you would be willing to accept also for yourself. You know what I mean? And for me, anarchy is more about not having a ruler, not having masters, not having someone above you. We always will need rules to live with each other as humans, right? So anarchy really just reflects this ideology of true liberty, freedom without a ruler.
We came to a very good point, actually, philosophical thing. I totally agree with you. Perhaps even the word anarchy maybe does not reflect our blockchain groups, because we actually don't mean without any laws. Actually, as we say within blockchain world, code is law. When you actually create a code, a set of code, actually you create your laws. Like Marmara Credit Loops, it has own laws actually to meet the non-redemption problem, to solve the non-redemption problem. Yeah. Or for example, like R, for example, Pirate creates an anonymous, for example, complete. It is the best anonymous system I think in the world now to create anonymity within transactions. Or for example, for voting of the communities, like Veruscoin, for example. They all stand on some philosophy, and also they are reflecting some codes and laws, of course. Therefore, I say usually multi-law. Maybe I should find something like ML something, multi-law. Good, you know, I like this tradition in Komodo anyway. You are absolutely right. We are actually seeking, and this actually century, I believe, is going to a multi-law structure with the communities, and I guess in the future, thousands of communities will have their own, you know, lifestyles coded in actually in the blockchains, because with the money creation and with the other smart contracts. Smart contract, by the way, is in any way kind of law, you know, agreed by people on common consensus. That is why we call it consensus with the people. That is actually what attracted me towards Komodo. I am very happy that from many different countries we are talking about the same things, you know, same problems, and how when we solve the problems, how we solve them in a decentralized way. I always say the new era of the world is decentralization. And Komodo is actually setting a good future for that. I really thank and appreciate for accepting our invitation. Would you like to just say some sentences? So I will just close now today's program.
Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you for having me. I really highly appreciate it. It was a very interesting call. I thank the Marmara community and the Marmara.
Thanks very much. Okay.
Thanks for all the vision sharing, and thank you. Thank you. Have a nice
evening. Thank you very much. Have a nice night, evening. Okay. Dear ladies and gentlemen, our broadcast will be available on YouTube after that, and we are you know, planning to have Turkish as subtitles later, but we prefer this one to be in English so that many people can actually hear. This broadcast was available to Turkish communities in Europe also, like Brussels TV and other TV stations, thanks to Channel 34 in Istanbul for this. Thanks. Good evening.